my disappointment is that the church didn't go far enough. And hopefully at some point, same-sex couples can experience, marriage in their parishes.
I thought about it also as like another window in the church has been opened, but the doors haven't been thrown open wide yet.
So what are the chances that that will happen? Let's ask Father James Martin. He is a Jesuit priest. He's a best-selling author. He's the founder of an LGBTQ ministry and has met with Pope Francis several times to talk about these issues. Good morning, Father Martin.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you. So what was your reaction to this document being released? Did you expect it?
I had heard that it was in the offing, and there was some talk about it when I was in Rome during the Synod in October, but I didn't know when it was going to happen, so I woke up just as surprised as anyone yesterday.
What do you make of the caveats in the document that are intended to avoid a blessing for a couple from seeming to be similar to a wedding ceremony? It makes it very clear that that is not to be the case.
Right, and not surprising. In the Catholic Church, marriage is still between a man and a woman. So with those caveats, though, as someone said, it's still pretty amazing because just 2 years ago, in response to this same question, the same Vatican office said God does not and cannot bless sin. And now, that's a dramatic turnaround from just 2 years ago. So it's really a historic step forward for LGBTQ Catholics.
Why do you think now? What do you make of the timing? Why do you think this came now?
Well, there's some internal things going on at the Vatican. The head of this office, the theology office called the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith, was replaced by Pope Francis, and the fellow's name is Cardinal Victor Fernandez. And he has signaled that, he wants a more open approach to some of these questions. And in his letter to Cardinal Fernandez when he took over, Pope Francis said, he is in favor of, I think what he said was harmonious growth in theology and in practice. And so, it's new people in a new office means new openness to different topics.
This is going to be controversial. We're hearing anger and dismay already from some conservative Catholic voices in the U.S. I'm sure we're going to hear those from voices elsewhere. How do you think the Pope should handle that?
Well, I think the way that he's handled it in the past, which is with great patience and understanding. He's trying not to move the church too fast, but he's also trying to listen to the voices of the people on the ground. He has a great deal of experience with LGBTQ people. He knows them. He's met with them. He understands their problems and their situations. And so this is a response to the needs of Catholics in the church, and not just LGBTQ Catholics, which is a fairly small segment of the church, but their friends and their families, which is a growing number in our church.
Do you think that this is a step on the road to same-sex couples being allowed to marry in the church?
I don't think so. I think it's an opening to seeing that these relationships, are relationships of love, and that they deserve God's help just as much as anyone else does. And I think it's, as I said, a huge turnaround from just 2 years ago.
Have you had many requests for blessings yet?
Yes, I have, and I'm doing one today, actually.
Today? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, and forgive me for being really sort of blunt about this, but it's been made clear that this is to be done in an informal way. You're not supposed to wear certain vestments and stuff. Can I just ask what arrangements are you making?
Yeah, sure. So I'll probably wear my collar, which is fine. I won't do it in a church. I won't be dressed in liturgical vestments. We'll do it probably in the living room of my Jesuit community. So it's something very informal, just as the document stipulates.
And how do the celebrants feel about that? I mean, I could argue on the one hand that it's a great step forward, but on the other hand, I could see where some might argue it's still second-class citizenship.
Well, I will say that most of the people, I think all the LGBTQ Catholics that contacted me yesterday, and I know a lot, were all delighted. So there was really no holding back. I saw a few people, online who said, I wish it would go farther. But, there are also people in, say, Sub-Saharan Africa, Eastern Europe, Latin America, who think it went much too far. And so the Pope is really balancing this desire to move ahead and listen to people with the desire for unity in the church.
It will be a great Christmas present for some.
It already is.
That is Father James Martin. He's a Jesuit priest. He's the founder of the LGBTQ Ministry Outreach. Father Martin, thank you so much for talking with us.